I went off to have a conversation with Dale Vince, who is a renewable energy entrepreneur, a millionaire, and a political donor. He's given quite a lot of money to the Labour Party, and we thought it would be good to chat to him just about this whole concept of being a political donor, because that's the concept that's in the spotlight at the moment. Dale, hello.
Hello, Adam.
This is great. This is like buy one, get one free, because there's both a big energy story today and a big political donation story, and you fit both bills.
That's awesome.
It's like dual fuel. Right. Let's talk about the donations thing first. So why do you donate to a political party?
Because I want them to win. I believe in their values. I think they're the best people to run the country. It's that basic, really. There's another thing, of course. I say, of course, that's wrong of me to say that. There's a funding disparity between everybody and the Tories. Actually, at the last election, Conservatives spent as much as everybody else put together. In this election, the limit's been doubled to 35 million. So it's going to be an ever bigger challenge for Labour to keep up. But I donate anyway. But right now, it's more important than ever, particularly with the anti-green direction that the government are taking.
But just in terms of your donations, what process do you go through? Do you have to sort of get screened by the Labour Party? Do you have to prove or demonstrate anything?
Well, apparently there is a screening process. I say that because, I've been giving money for, I think, 10 years. I get my news about my donations from the media. I don't keep tabs, but they say I've given 1.5 million over the last 10 years. And I think it was only recently, it was only under Keir Starmer, actually, that I learned that there was a vetting process. And look, maybe there wasn't one before, but they're very fussy who they take money from. They're intent on having no scandals in their funding chain, if you like, if I can call it that. And they did put me through a process before they accepted money from me. And I'm happy for that, right? I think it should happen.
And I know you will say you don't influence Labour Party policy and you get no benefit from it kind of directly. But do you think there might be a sort of indirect influence, because Labour does need your money and they trumpet it that they've got you as a big donor, and so you can imagine maybe you play on their minds when they're making decisions, even if you don't intend to be on their minds?
I tend to think not. I think that, if I am a factor, it would be a very small one. I think they've got bigger things driving the decisions that they make, and obviously big internal process as well when it comes to, for example, the manifesto and stuff like that. And, they did row back on the 28 billion. They didn't call me beforehand and say, what do you think about this? Or we don't upset you and stuff like that. I get what you're saying. Most people think there's got to be a connection between giving money and having some influence. I can promise you, I have none. I ask for none, and they offer none. And that's the only way I would have it.
And do you know how much you've given in total?
Like I said before, I get my updates from the media. And the last thing I read was like 1.5 million over 10 years. And I think there was an update from the Electoral Commission, because I did give £1 million a couple of weeks ago. I think it was. And actually, I've given some more money since then. So I think when the next update comes out, it will be another £1 million. And that's the best of my recollection.
I'm just thinking it's like, because my electricity bill direct debit comes out tomorrow and I know precisely what it is. There's me going knowing precisely what my electricity bill is, and you going, oh, it's around about this for my millions. It's just I think you do live in a different world. I'm not insinuating anything, but like that much is clear.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I wouldn't argue with you.
So at the moment, anyone who's on the electoral register can donate to a political party, and it's up to the parties to carry out the vetting process to make sure that person is allowed to donate. Do you think that's the right way round? Does that open the system up to too many people? Is that too loose?
Well, it is loose, isn't it? But I would be in favour of public funding as well to clean the system up completely. And, make it beyond doubt that nobody is influencing policy, because nobody gets to put money in.
And what public funding model would you like? I don't know, maybe everyone on the electoral roll pays a quid that pays for political parties?
Well, look, I just figured it should come from central funds, tax. We all pay tax. And, the sums involved are not huge. Before the Tories doubled spending at this election, you're probably talking about an election that might cost £50 million every 5 years. I mean, that's peanuts in the scheme of things compared to the decisions that governments make, every day. Liz Truss cost us 30 billion in 1 month, 50 million from public coffers every 5 years to get a clean, fair election. I say that's money well spent.
Right, let's talk about energy then. So today, Claire Coutinho, the Energy and Net Zero Secretary, did a speech setting out the next stage of the government's reforms of the energy market and the energy mix we have as a country. And the big headline from that is the government backing a next generation of gas-fired power stations. Their argument being that, yep, you can have this massive dash for offshore wind and maybe onshore wind if there's a Labour government and solar. But on days when the wind ain't blowing and the sun ain't shining and there's not enough hydro, not nearly enough, you need something else. I mean, have they got a point?
No, I think they've created a problem that doesn't exist. I mean, it didn't exist yesterday. The government weren't talking about this yesterday or ever up until now.
Well, because they hadn't concluded their consultation and made their decision yet.
But they've been in power for 14 years, and the rate of renewables on the grid has been growing steadily since then. We're at nearly 50%. The national grid that runs the grid, they don't have a problem with it. They've said we can get to 100%. They aren't talking about blackouts. So I think this is fake. This is confected for the election so that the Tories can parade the kind of fossil burning credentials to a certain audience. It just makes no sense. But, we've got grid scale storage coming in at pace, large battery farms.
Just explain what that is. So that's basically, you just about to. Yeah, so big batteries.
Yeah, large battery farms. We're building one ourselves at a 10 megawatt scale, added to a wind farm and a solar project. So we share a grid connection. And the smart grid concept is really interesting because it does have storage added to it, but also it's about smart demand management. There are lots of industrial processes that can turn off for an hour or 4 hours or even 12 hours. And the same at home as well. We can turn a home down or off for half an hour or an hour where we need them. And the whole system is being geared up to be smart. Smart meters in the homes are key to this. We already have them in business. And so that we can juggle our energy demands. At the moment, we have massive peaks of demand and massive troughs of demand. A smart grid system will smooth all of that out. What the Tories have said today makes no sense.